Hi again then guys, and so we've got another Special Projects Replica style build for you today, and in this particular replica build we're replicating the most hardcore version, or variant, of the Renault Megane, the R26.R, which of course back in the day was a dominating force around the Nuremberg ring. Now it's been surpassed by a couple, but it's still an extremely rapid and very, very highly respected hot hatch. Now, as far as the visuals, it's a relatively simple one to achieve. We've gone for white with the carbon bonnet and the red rims, which is one of the most common colours to see on the R26R, but we will go over to the visual tuning garage just to do a quick run through of the colour options and rim options, etc. that I've gone for. Then, of course, as always, we'll go over to the mechanical setup, which is actually relatively simple on this car, and then, of course, we'll take it out to a racetrack to prove what it's capable of. Now, there are no body modifications available on this car, but thankfully visually it does look pretty close to the R26R anyway, although this is of course the 5-door model, whereas the R26R is a 3-door. Now, as far as the rims that I've chosen are, when we scroll down to them, these Race 57 Extreme rims, which don't look too far off. As you can see, I've gone for the standard size. You don't want them to be ridiculously big on this car. As far as the paint colour of the car, it is a production model, so you've got a couple of options to go for, of course, but I've chosen to go for Blanc-Vis, however you pronounce it, which of course is a white colour. There are a ton of different white colours to choose from on the game, so you can pretty much go for whatever one you want. I decided to keep it to a French white. It's quite a pure, clean, crisp looking white, and that comes from a couple of the different Citroen models, such as the C3 and the Zara, so that's where you can get that colour if you want that one. And as far as the rims, we've gone for red, of course, as you can see, and the particular red that we've gone for is one of the most commonly used reds for me, which is called Colton Red, which is quite a bright red, and that comes from the older shape Mitsubishi Evo. So that's it for the visual look. As I said, it's relatively simple on this car, so now let's go over to the mechanical tuning garage for the setup. As always, of course, I do like to make these tunes PP even, rounded off to a nice PP number. This one is 430. Now, I've gone for sport soft tyres because it's more of a street-based build, but go for whatever ones you need. As far as the suspension, we've got the ride height on 100, front and rear, the springs on 675 and 475, the dampers and anti-roll to 3, neutral camber and tow. For the gearbox on this one, it's pretty much running, well, it is running the exact same gearbox as the normal model, so we've left that gearbox in there. As far as the diff, we've got the lowest initial torque, lowest acceleration and highest braking sensitivity. As far as power, it's very simple to achieve. All you need is an oil change and then reduce the power down to 98.5% to bring you to the power of the real car, which is 227 horsepower. And then as far as the weight, you want the stage 3 weight reduction, the carbon bonnet primarily for the look, and the real R26R does have its windows replaced, some of them at least, with Perspex windows instead of glass to save weight. So it's appropriate, of course, to have the window weight reduction as well. You want to then add a 73 kilo ballast to bring us up to the actual weight of the real car, which is 1220 kilos, and then we've put that all the way to the back to improve the weight distribution. So as I said, it's a relatively simple setup. It's not a huge jump in performance over the normal Megane, but it's lighter, it's more focused, more track oriented, a little bit like the upgrades that I did for the Delta Evo 2 and the Quattro 20 valve, that kind of thing, just a minor update for fans of the car. So now let's finally take it out to, of course, a racetrack to see how it handles. Now, overall, the increase in performance for this car isn't a massive one. It hasn't become some kind of GT3 or Pikes Peak rivaling machine, but there are definite notable differences, primarily to the handling of this vehicle. It's extremely fun to drive. That's one of the reasons why it's my favourite hot hatch overall. It's very easy to drive, it's fun, there is a huge amount of grip, and even though the brakes are not upgraded, they do a superb job of bringing the car's power and weight to a halt. So if you decide to use this relatively minor update which just replicates the slightly higher model of the range. Obviously I hope you find it fun, potentially even competitive at the 430pp level, which is a little bit more niched than some of my other builds. Then obviously I hope you find it competitive in that category. But if you'd like to keep up with other replicas and sometimes custom builds like this in the future, be sure to hit subscribe down below for that. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.